On your mark, get set, go. These important words are necessary if you want to succeed in this next episode. Stay tuned. In the race of life, you are going to have to get on your mark, you're going to have to get set, and you are going to have to go. And this applies to, doesn't matter if it's moving career forward, if it's the 100, the 200 dash, or even a marathon. You're going to have to get on your mark, you have to get set, and actually go. Many of us fail in this race in accomplishing our goals in that we don't actually go. I've been guilty of that, I will not lie to you, whereby sometimes you get scared and you don't want to take action because you think this goal you want to accomplish, maybe move your career forward, is too much for you to handle and you're just not ready. Well, that's just self-sabotage talking in your head, keeping you safe. But it's not really keeping you safe because inside you're really dying inside because you have not taken action for you to move forward. And it comes down to execution is king. If you are just talking about it, and never taking action, that is equivalent to a wish list to your dreams. And we know that never happens unless you take action. Now this reminds me of a time way back when. A time when there was no cars, there was no airplanes, and just people lived in small communities like villages. And they were scattered throughout the land. And this one village I'd like to share with you, it was located at the base of the tallest mountain. Now in that town, there lived two unique individuals. They were the complete opposite. They were the mirror image. It was the wise man and the village fool. Now, the wise man was tall, he was confident, he had a nice flowing beard, he was well groomed, and he was successful. He was the apple of everyone's eye. Now, the village fool, on the other hand, he wasn't successful. He was very short, he had stubby legs, and he wasn't confident, and he wasn't really the apple of people's eyes. He was a bit shunned. But all he did have for him, wherever he went, was his goofy little smile. And one day, there was a town hall meeting, and they wanted to bring exposure to their village so it could grow. Well, the wise man stood up and says, I challenge any man in this room to a contest of whoever gets to the top of the mountain will be crowned the most successful and wisest man of the land. And I encourage other people of the land to take part in this race. Well, the whole place applauded, but no one wanted to challenge the wise men. Why? Because they had the fear of failing. So what happened was time passed and there's no takers in all the lands because everyone knew that this man, the wise man, was the wisest man of the land. But one day, the village fool approached the wise man and says, I will race you because I have this longing to be the wisest man. Well, people heard this and they started laughing. How could the village fool beat the wisest man up the mountain? It's clearly impossible. The wise man is tall, he's athletic, he's in shape, and the village fool is short, small, and is not in shape. On the next day, they both agreed to meet to climb up the mountain. The mayor gathered the people around and everyone watched, waiting to see the village fool fail and make a fool of himself. The mayor said, on your mark, get set, go. And he pulled on his flintlock pistol and bang, the race was off. The village fool took off like a thief in the night, running up the mountain, stumbling, falling, because his poor little legs couldn't get him up the mountain fast enough. The whole crowd erupted into laughter, but then they looked and they noticed that the wise man had not moved. He started unpacking his huge knapsack full of supplies, and he pulled out a pen and paper and started mapping out the route up the mountain. As you watch the village fool stumble and fall back again, and he noticed that the best way to go was not the east side of the mountain, but the west side, and then move yourself eventually over to the east. So he was watching the failures of the village fool, but the village fool didn't give up hope. He kept going, climbing, falling, climbing, pulling. And people started to wonder, why was the wise man sitting there mapping out everything that he needed? And still, they looked back and they could see the village fool getting higher and higher up the mountain as he stumbled every so often. Well, having enough confidence to know the map and layout of the mountain, the wise man finally decided to make his mark and get set, and he went. But to people's surprise, the village fool had actually reached the top before the wise man even started. And that was the day when the wise man became the fool and the fool became the wise man. Now, many of us, we're going to have to take action. I get it, it may be scary, but I encourage you to get on your mark, get set, and just go for your dreams. This reminds me of a quote from Les Brown, and it goes like this. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. Les Brown. Share with me, what do you need to get started on? I want to know. If you found this video inspirational, I want you to like, subscribe, and share if you care. As I always say, keep moving forward and looking upwards, and see you soon in the training room. Take care.